Yo, welcome back to another episode of the High Value Agent Podcast, where we inspire people to create a better life through real estate. You got a buyer that offers $20,000 below asking price. You send the offer over, the seller is furious, pissed. The deal is about to die. 2 days later, that same deal closes with both sides happy. What changed? One word: negotiation. Today, what I want to do is I want to break down and give you a clear, proven path that's going to help you understand the art of negotiation in real estate. Because, quite honestly, man, this is where agents truly earn their paycheck. And deals typically fall apart due to the lack of skill that the agents possess in the transaction. So this is one you want to really pay attention to, okay? So let's talk about, when we talk about negotiations and when it comes to real estate, it's important to understand that you're going to have emotion involved from the client typically. And so it's our job to make sure that we manage emotions and we set expectations, right? And so I have a story where, and this is a true story, helped the client. She was a buyer. And at the consultation, before I even show a property, before we really get into the market looking for homes, I want to meet with you first to set expectations, to enroll you into the process that is proven that we're going to follow, and obviously to build as much rapport as possible, right? And so follow that process. Had a conversation, everything went well, right? She got pre-approved, everything went well. And before we ended the consultation, I slowed everything down. And this is important too. When you're going through a consultation and there's numbers involved, make sure you slow down. Slow down, okay? Before we exited the room, I stopped and I said, you know what? We'll just say her name is Jane. Jane, just wanted to let you know again, I am extremely, extremely excited to help you through this journey of, being able to buy your first house so you can have the space needed for you and your new baby, have more peace of mind and be able to have the space for, you to continue to build your family. And when we get into the market, just like I mentioned before, and I'm gonna say it over and over again, we're essentially stepping into battle, right? We are battling against other buyers that are in the market. And so my number one commitment is, number one, to make sure that you are supported, you feel heard, um, for you to feel safe, for you to feel comfortable and confident about everything that we're doing. That's my number one commitment. And a side note to that is, I want you to be the most informed buyer that is in this market. I believe the more educated you are, the better decisions you can make. Do you agree with that? Yeah, sure. Awesome. So we're aligned there. Now, I have a very important question to ask you because this is how much I care to make sure you're getting what you want in the time you want. And I just want to reiterate the fact that this is a safe space. You could be open, you could be honest, you could be vulnerable. Because I'm going to do that with you. All I ask is for you to do the same for me. Now, is that okay? Awesome. Jane, do you want to work with an agent who is going to tell you the fluff, tell you things that maybe you want to hear, but avoid telling the truth? Or would you rather work with an agent that's going to be 100% transparent, upfront, and honest with you at all times? That in return is going to help you make the best decision for you and your family. Which one's better for you? One that's going to tell you what they think you want to hear, or it's going to lead you and advise you with truth? Well, I want the agent's going to be honest with me and truthful. Awesome. And that's why we're going to work well together. That is my commitment to you. Okay. There will be times when we work together and we're looking at a house that you love and it's a great fit. It checks all the boxes. But because this is you're in the market to buy a house, and a part of that is, hey, and this is not just a you thing, this is how we as buyers think when we're in the market for anything is, can I get a deal? Right? Can I get a deal? And there's going to be a situation because you have great taste, and heck, there's other buyers out there that have great taste just like you. And so they're going to be coming off maybe losing a house or two, and this new house that you're also interested in, they're going to come in with the best offer humanly possible. Meanwhile, you want to come in maybe under asking price, for the sake of this example. And it's going to be in those moments where we're going to really have to sit down and have a conversation as to what makes the most sense for us. But one thing that is going to be imperative, is I'm going to tell you the truth. If the offer strategy that we're going to use is not going to get the job done, I'm going to be upfront and honest with you and tell you the truth, despite how you feel about it. Okay. And the reason why I bring this up now is because I want you to know when that happens. And I say when, okay, because very likely in today's market, it will happen. Just know where I'm coming from. It's from truth, it's from love, it's from actual support. Okay. Does that sound fair? Yes, it sounds fair. Okay, now I'm going to stop this little role play that I was doing. That is important because when I talk about setting the expectation, doing the work up front to lay the foundation of what our relationship is going to be like and our conversations are going to be like, and I get buy in, I get enrollment. Now it makes everything moving forward easier to navigate because we are in alignment, right? And when that time comes where we really have that conversation, I can go back to the consultation in this role play I just did. I can go back to that, right? And so when we talk about negotiations, a part of negotiation is making sure that the party you're representing or the client you're representing, you are both in alignment, right? There's trust, there's rapport, and you're able to then at that point support that client the way they need to. All right, so that is how we set it up. That's very important. That's the foundation, right? Now, another part of negotiation is when you are going to show that property, right? And the seller listed the property at 300,000. There's multiple showings, maybe no offers on it, right? And again, the buyer comes in at 275,000. Okay. We know that if we write an offer, at least in this market, your market may be different, but in the market that I'm in, if you come in $25,000 under, you're probably going to offend the seller, right? And you're probably going to have a listing agent pushing for just rejection, right? They're not going to be on your side in trying to convince or influence their agent, or I'm sorry, their seller to, you know, consider your offer. Not all listing agents, but most likely you're going to get rejected and emotions will be high. So in that moment, and again, if you've done a good job of setting everything up, you probably won't ever come in at a price at an or when they're asking for 300,000, you probably won't come in at 275. But in that moment though, this is where the negotiations actually start to really come to the forefront. Instead of you reacting emotionally, you want to make sure that you're presenting market data. You want to, because maybe it's let's say it's a situation where that house is 300K asking price. Well, maybe it's actually worth 275 because you did your homework and you ran comps, right? Could you, with that offer, humanize your client, present market data to back up as to why your offer is what it is, and get very clear on what the seller is looking for as far as their goal is selling a house, right? Because in that process of gathering that intel, and reframing the conversation that you're having with the other agent, you're now being able to humanize your client to that agent, presenting data to back it up. And now it makes it easier for that listing agent to then share and relay that information to the seller. Now you'll probably get a counter, right? And one thing that we want to remember is negotiation is rarely, excuse me, about the number. It's really about solving the problem, right? And so we want to make sure, like in that situation, when we're negotiating and we're going back and forth, and here's something you should write down: the more counters you have in a negotiation, the more likely a deal gets ratified or a deal goes under contract, right? The more you go back and forth, the more counters that you can have in a negotiation, the more likely that you come to an agreement with the other party. Okay. So when we talk about um, negotiations and stuff like that, we want to make sure that we are understanding it's not just about the price, it's also about the terms and conditions. You know, it's about what each side really wants. It's about helping remind the buyer as to why they're buying in the first place. The first number, the list price, is just a psychological anchor, is really what it is, right? And so um, we want to make sure that we remind the client that it's not just numbers that makes the offer good. Okay. So let's talk about like terms. When you're negotiating, how can you negotiate things outside of the price? Well, you got things you can negotiate regarding closing timelines. You got inspections, you got appraisals, you got possession of the property, you got earnest money, you got other included items like things that are included with the sale. Many deals, from my experience, get done because someone won on terms, not just price. Like I've seen sellers accept a lower price point because they got a faster closing. They wanted to get paid faster. Maybe that seller needed to get to their next property, or maybe that seller was being transferred to a different state, different city to start a new job, new career, and they need a fast closing. So that can be appealing. And this is why it's important to make sure before you write the offer, are we asking the listing agent, hey, what is the seller looking for in the ideal offer? What would make the seller get excited about our offer? And whatever that is, that we can consider putting that in the offer. Right? Those are questions that you should definitely ask. Maybe they don't want any contingencies. Maybe they want, I think I mentioned this already, flexible possession. Maybe they want post possession, right? Stuff like that, so they have time to move out. You got to remember, you negotiate the whole deal, not just the number, not just the number. Okay, and so when you're in negotiations, make sure that not only you understand that, but the client does too. The client does too. Okay, and I'm gonna. This is very important. This next part, they're all important, but this is the one that I find we struggle with the most. Control emotion. Real estate is emotional. You're going to have sellers that are attached to maybe their home, right? You're going to have buyers that are stressed, they have fear, maybe they're excited, right? And so a great negotiator, and when we talk about the art of negotiations, stay calm, stay professional, focus on facts and solutions, right? Here's what I want you to write down. Emotion is the enemy of great negotiations. Emotion is the enemy of great negotiation. So you want to make sure that you are being the rock. You are being the rock, okay? And then when you are giving the information, let's say you're in the negotiation, they counter you, right? They counter you. And for you, take a moment, review the counter, right? Manage your emotions, allow your emotions to be processed before you like some people will get a counter or gets, in that negotiation, as soon as they get new information, they're immediately reaching out to the client, right? When the agent hasn't even taken the time to process everything. Take your time to process it, get your emotions under control, okay? And then when you actually present the information, keep it positive. How can you maintain a positive frame, not only for you, but set it up to the client to be positive? Point out the positives in the counter, right? Point out the positives in the counter. Here's an example. Let's say again, 300,000 asking price. We counter at, or we offer at 275. They counter us back at 295. Instead of you being like, man, they're not even like, again, you the agent, man, 295, they're not even willing to negotiate much. Like, man, I don't like these sellers. And you relay that type of energy and message to the client. What do you think the client is going to do? So instead, why don't you get the counter, process it, right? And when you communicate and reveal the information to the client, hey, good news, we got a counter. We got a counter, which tells me they are willing to negotiate. Now, here's what they've countered back. They have agreed on all the terms and conditions. So they've agreed on A, B, C, elemental P. The only thing that they countered us back on, the only thing is the fact that they're looking to get, they listed at 300,000. We offered 275. They countered us back at 295, but agreed on all other terms and conditions. Okay. Tell me, what are your thoughts? Figure out how they feel, right? And walk them through it. And when you're walking them through it, you need to make sure that, well, number one, when you are asking them how do they feel, you have to prepare yourself for them to say something that maybe you don't agree with. And that is okay. Remember, your job is to maintain a positive frame. Okay. A positive frame. So they may say, well, you know what? I don't like it. I don't like it. I want to, this seller's not willing to budge, and I don't like the fact that they're not willing to budge, right? So that's a negative approach that the client has taken, which is normal for a client. Typically, we as a human, we allow our emotions to have us react in ways that sometimes come from a negative space. So in that moment, listen to them. Don't cut them off. Listen to them. And how you respond is, listen, I understand exactly how you feel. 100%. Now let's go underneath this. The fact that they just didn't reject it and they countered us shows me that sellers are willing to play ball. Okay. Now let me ask you, at 295, is this a price point, or is this a purchase price that we're willing to move forward with? Yes or no? No, that's too high. Okay, awesome. Now, where would you like to counter back at? Let's counter back at 285. Awesome, 285. Okay. Now, when we counter back at 285, we're saying that we accept. So they accepted our terms and conditions. We're good with that. The only thing is price, and we're going to counter back at 285. Okay. Now, here's a couple of things that could happen. One of these three. They could accept it, which would be great. They could counter us back, which again, that's a positive. It's not a bad thing. It is a positive. And then the third option is they could just reject it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write it up. All right. Send it to you. You sign. I'm going to call the other agent, have a conversation with them, just kind of let them know where we're coming from mindset wise. I mean, that, hey, reminders that we still love the house. They've done, we're still very, very interested. And we hope that you guys respectfully consider our counter. Right. And so once I get it over to them, I'll let you know. And then I'll keep you posted throughout the day. Sound good? Like that's an actual conversation you should be having. That's how you keep it positive and you frame it in a way that can move the deal forward. Even if it's an inch, you're moving it forward. Okay. Now, something to keep in mind, we're going to wrap this up. When you are in negotiations, because this is an hour-long training that I recently did with my team. And so I'm trying to just jam pack this into 20, 25 minutes. We want to make the goal a win-win. And clients should understand that. We want both clients to win. We want both sides to feel respected. And when we do that very well, a deal will actually close. Okay. The worst way to negotiate, and this is the approach most people take, winning the argument, but losing the deal. Okay. So make it a win-win. Make sure the client understands, listen, this is not a we're not fighting the other party. We're dancing, right? We're dancing. This is a dance, not a fight. And the closer we can get to a win-win, the more likely you get what you want in the time that you want. Okay. So remember, negotiations is making it a win-win. It's not manipulation. Okay. It is persuasion. It's strategy, it's psychology, communication, preparation. In real estate, the agents who master negotiations, who really master the art of negotiation, they protect their clients' money, time, and stress. And that's why the skill is so important. Okay. So make sure that when you're in the, because we're doing negotiations literally every deal you have, it's negotiation after negotiation. Make sure you're following this framework. Okay. And your client's going to feel it. They're going to feel it and they're going to respect you for handling the negotiation as a professional. Okay. All right, y'all. Got to hop off here. Listen, appreciate you guys as always. I am fully committed to supporting your guys' growth, sharing what is winning for our team with you. And if this is working for you, please share it with somebody else, right? Like if you want to keep what you have, you got to give it away. And that's what I'm doing. And respectfully, I want you to do it too. So you can keep growing and you don't put a lid on your growth. Like, comment, subscribe, leave us a review. Appreciate you guys. See you guys on the next one. Be strong. Peace.